So here we are, still on page V. This time let's look at problem 82. This problem reads, what current, remember that's I, which will be measured in amps, right? What current will the battery in the previous problem? So in the previous problem, we know that the battery was 9 volts. Provide when joined to two resistances of 10 ohms each connected in parallel. Now, if I hadn't read the solution manual, I would have been a little confused about how they want this solved. But only these two resistances, okay, two resistances of 10 ohms each, those two are in parallel, which is what I pictured here. But they still want us to include the 0.9 ohms, which is in the circuit. Even though they don't clearly tell us that, we have to read between the lines to know that that's what they want. So this is the voltage from the previous problem. This was the resistance in the circuit. So what's new here is we need to add these together in parallel. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit different. All right, let me get my pen here. Here we go. So let's add these two resistances together. Now here's the trick. Because it's parallel, we have to do 1 over R total equals 1 over, in this case, we're just adding R2 plus R3. So it's going to be 1 over 10 plus 1 over 10, which is 2/10 or 1/5. Now here's the thing, because we're solving for RT being on the bottom, you see that? We have to actually do the reciprocal. That's what 1 over RT means, is do the reciprocal of the answer that you get. So if you take 1/5 and flip it upside down, we will get RT, which is the reciprocal, equals 5. All right, 5.0. So that's not actually the grand total, that's a subtotal, because now I need to add this to it. Okay? So let's just finish that. So 5.9. That's what's actually going to go in here. All right? That's a little bit confusing, but I wanted to explain that. On several of the problems coming up, notice if it says parallel, this is the method you have to use to find the resistance. Use a calculator, add the fractions, okay? And then when you get the answer, do the reciprocal, 1 over that. Or take the bottom number and divide by the top number, and you'll have the reciprocal. All right, now we're not quite done. We know the voltage is 9. We know the resistance is 5.9. So now use the magic triangle and just plug in and you can solve for the current. And remember, your answer comes out in amps. So I'm going to let you finish this problem, and then the next several problems on the page, I'll come back and we'll talk about number 89. But the next several, this magic triangle is the key. Just read the problem and figure out what they are giving you, whether the current, the resistance, or the voltage, and then solve for whatever's missing. All right, hopefully that will help, and we'll see you at the bottom of the page.